Welcome to the Global Biodiversity Festival 2021. My name is Peter Ong, and I'm checking in with you now live from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And we have a really special guest with us this morning, Dr. Murilo Pastana. We've been actually going through this festival for now coming up to 30 hours, if I'm not mistaken, and we have another over 40 hours left to go. So this is really an incredible start, to the day for me, because I am starting. And I think Jesse is going into night over that part of the world. And without further ado, I'd like to present to you Dr. Murilo Pastana. Hi, Dr. Murilo, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
All right, where are you checking
Good
in
evening
from?
here from Washington, D.C. So, good evening, everybody from Washington.
Fantastic. And now I believe you're going to take us through some amazing fish discoveries in the Amazon.
Yes, exactly. We're going to see how many fish species are there. Hopefully, yeah.
Excellent. Take it away, Doctor. It's all yours.
All right. Thank you, Peter. Can you guys see me? Can you guys see my screen already?
Yes, we can.
So, all right. So, let's begin that. So, thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Good evening for those who are still on Friday night like me. My name is Murilo Pastana, and today I have this presentation for you entitled How Many Fish Species Are There in the Amazon and Where Do We Find Them? I am currently a postdoc at the National Museum of Natural History, Smithsonian Institution, and my career has been focusing on fish biodiversity and evolution. And today, for you guys, I have a talk organized in two parts. For the first part, I would like to address the Amazon biodiversity in terms of fishes. I'm going to provide you guys with some numbers, charts, comparisons of the biodiversity of the Amazon compared to other basins in the world and even other continents in the world. From that point on, I would like to address why is the Amazon so rich. So, spoiler alert: is the Amazon is very rich in terms of fishes. And I would like also to talk about some unexplored areas still in the 21st century. So, quite guessing how many more fishes are there still to be found. I'm gonna combine this with some papers talking about these predictions. And then I'm gonna jump up for the importance of past and ongoing inventory projects taken in South America with an emphasis to projects addressing the Amazon. So what are the challenges of exploring the Amazon and what are the impacts of those inventory projects have on the Amazon biodiversity, meaning what are the results, what are the main results of those projects. But before talking about the Amazon biodiversity, I think it's important to define what the Amazon is. So the Amazon can mean lots of things for different people. If you go to Brazil and ask a regular Brazilian there, he or she is going to answer, well, the Amazon is the Amazonas state, this large state found in the northwest region of Brazil. So this is in terms of geopolitics, but this is not how I address the Amazon as a fish expert. For me, the Amazon has is more meaningful in terms of hydrography. So for me, the Amazon is every body of water that drains down to the Amazon River, which is what you can see here, the Amazon River in yellow, and everything draining down to the Amazon is the Amazon basin. However, even this definition is not quite fit because if you talk to any other biologist, they're going to talk about the Amazon in terms of the Amazon biome. In this figure in the left here, we have the Amazon basin surrounded by blue and the Amazon biome surrounded by yellow. So currently, lots of experts are talking about the greater Amazonia. So the greater Amazonia is the combination of the Amazon, Orinoco, and Guyana basins for fish experts. This is a definition used recently on this great book here, The Field Guide to the Fishes of the Amazon, Orinoco, and Guianas. And from here on, this is the definition I'm going to use with you guys. Okay. So let's now talk about fish biodiversity. So, how many fish species are there? This is a very tricky question. This is something that we have been dealing with for over 100 years as ichthyologists. And of course, this number keeps changing. But the latest contribution, and one of the greatest contribution also, was published a couple years ago by two colleagues of mine in the Museum of São Paulo, Brazil. In this piece of paper called The Fishes of the Amazon, Distribution, Biogeographical Patterns, and a Comprehensive List of Species. And this magnificent study was the first one to combine all data we have in museum specimens and reach up to a number of 2,716 species of fish only in the Amazon basin, only in the greater Amazonia region. And this is impressive because the second richest basin in the world, which is the Congo basin, has less than half of the fish diversity we find in the Amazon. As a matter of fact, the Amazonas is almost as rich as the entire continental Africa, and it's richer than North America, Europe, Central America, and Oceania combined. It's impressive number of fish species. And it's not just the basin itself as a whole, which is rich. Every single river you can see here in this chart to the left is very diverse. The Amazonas main channel, only the Amazonas River, you can find more than 922 species of fish in there. And it's not even the richest river in the Amazon drainage. If you go all the way down to this chart where you read Madeira total. So the Madeira River is an affluent of the Amazonas River, and the Madeira itself has more than 1,000 fish species. And this is double the number of fish species you can find in the entire continental Europe. So the biodiversity you find in the Amazonas in terms of fish is something else. It's unique, and it's compared to other continents around the world. And you may ask me, why is the Amazon so diverse in number of fishes? And this is also a tricky question. Different biologists are working on different ends to come up with a solution. But the only thing we know today is that there is no such thing as one single answer. So here we can talk about layers of complexity combining to what we find in the Amazon in terms of fish species. So the first thing we have to address is the variation in climate and altitude you can find in South America as a whole and in the Amazonas specifically. This map here is a topographical map. You can see in the Amazon, you have both lowlands and highlands. So you have the crystalline shields of Guyana and the Brazilian crystalline shields, and you have the lowlands of the Amazonas. And this provides different habitats for fishes to inhabit. But you also have things as different kinds of water. Not every river in the Amazonas have the same kind of water. This map here, also from the field guide book, depicts the different kinds of water you can find in the Amazon. In blue, you have transparent waters, like crystalline waters. But in black, you have black water rivers, which are rivers rich in organic matter. And in yellow, you have the white water rivers, which are rivers full of sediments that are carried out from the Andes, the Andean Cordillera, and reach the Amazon. This is so drastic that you can actually see the different kinds of rivers from satellite images. This is a screenshot from Google Earth showing the northwestern portion of the Amazonas state. And Manaus there is the capital of the Amazonas. Manaus is also known by the point where the Rio Negro meets the Amazonas River. And it's an amazing scene that you can see from the Manaus city, and you can also see from here in this satellite image. And when you are in Manaus, you can see something like that, something amazing like that, from two very different kinds of river meeting each other. And while one river, the Rio Negro, is a slower moving river, it's a warmer river, it's a river full of tannins and and other organic matter. The waters of this river is like something like you can see on a can of Coke when you pour in a glass. It's very dark, and it's much more acidic river because of the organic matter. Meanwhile, the other river here, which is the Amazonas River, is a faster flowing river, colder river, full of clay and other Andean sediments, and has a pH which is neutral to slightly acidic. And you can only imagine what this means for organisms that lives inside the water. Different kinds of water means different kinds of habitats for those rivers. So this is a second layer of complexity you can find in the Amazon that will justify the number of fish species you find there. But of course, you gotta have fish to have fish biodiversity. And in the Amazon, you have several different lineages of fish occupying this region historically before you see the evolution of the environment there. So those this chart here shows different orders of fish that were there and and were allowed to diversify in this region. So you have also the biological factor playing. And of course, abundance of water. You gotta have water to have those fishes. And if this is the hydrological map from Brazil, and you can see that Brazil as a whole is covered by river. Every little line you see there is a river, and in specific, the Amazon is completely covered by water. When you go to the Amazon, there's no square foot that you don't find a river or a stream or any other body of water. So you have all those different reasons playing together to come up with the diversity of environments, the diversity of niches that sums up to these multiple ecoregions you can find in South America as a whole and in the Amazon in specific. This map shows how we study the body of waters of the South America, and you can see in the Amazon region, every different number you see there is a different ecoregion, meaning that the environment is a bit different. So the fishes inhabiting this environment might be a bit different as well. Okay, so now we know how many fishes are there, about 2,700, and we know why there are so many fishes there. So it sounds like an amazing place to be working, right? Yes, and I agree with you. However, it's not as easy to work in the Amazon as you might think, because it's always a challenge to reach the Amazon. This map here from Brazil, again, it's a road map from Brazil. I'm not expecting you to read the chart, but I'll zoom in to this very information here, which is paved roads and unpaved roads. Now let's zoom into the Amazon region, and we see that we don't have as much roads as we have in the southeastern part of Brazil. In fact, when you go to Manaus, Manaus is completely disconnected from other regions from Brazil uh, in terms of paved road. So scientists like us, whenever we want to go to Manaus, we have either to sail or fly, carrying all the materials we need to study the Amazon. And this has historically been a challenge. And even when you are in Manaus using the rivers as roads, you have to sail up to reach any other city in the Amazonas state. Manaus by itself has been very well studied, so our goal is always to sail up to other cities. And it's always a journey to get from Manaus to other places here. So, okay, cool. And you might ask me now, is all this effort worth it? I'll argue now that it is. It's very much worth it. So to do so, I'll go back to the publication of my friends again, to their second figure, where they show the richest lineages of Amazonian fish by families. Okay, so we have the top three there, Coracidae, Loricardiae, and Cichlidae, which are those three guys here to the right, a tetra, a pleco, and a cichlid. If we go into the Eskimare Catalog of Fish, which is a catalog held by the California Academy of Science that keeps tracks on the number of species being described currently on the everyday basis, we're going to see that Carassidae, Lurcardia, and Cichlidae, in the last 10 years, they have had more than 200 or 150 new species described. Of course, not all of those came from the Amazon, but I'll argue with you that most of those came from the Amazon. Well, some of those were described by me from the Amazon. So now I'm going to link that to this paper I mentioned before, which is which treats about the fish biodiversity and conservation in South America. And this paper is key for our argument here because it tells us that on the last 10 between 2005 and 2014, in a 10-year time frame, more than 1,000 fish species were described for South America on a 104 species per year. And according to their predictions, the most conservative of their predictions says that there is still a third of fish species yet to be described in South America. And given that the hardest place to reach in South America is the heart of the Amazon, most of those species, scientists say, are going to come from the Amazon. So there are several fish species yet to be described, around thousands of species yet to be described from the Amazon, and we need to do so right away before uh, things change much in that region. Now I'm going to tell you some of the latest discoveries taken from the Amazon, some of the funnest discoveries from the Amazon fish-wise, and I'll go over some of those publications now. So the first one is the taxonomic revision of a genus of fish called Copella, and I bring this first example here because this is an amazing fish because it's one of the few fishes scientists know that happen to spawn out of the water. And the behavior described is that male and female, they meet together in the water and they jump together and hold to leaves that are hanging over the streams, and they spawn in the bottom of those leaves. And this fish is called splash tetra because the male is responsible to splash water in the leaves to avoid their eggs from desiccation. And he does so every 30 minutes for 2 to 3 days until those eggs hatch. It's an amazing behavior held by this tiny little species of fish. Another great discoveries done in the Amazon area is this other one. This is a blind catfish called Phreatobio sanguijuela. And what's amazing about this fish is that it doesn't inhabit the rivers, but the phreatic system. The discovery of those fishes came after scientists met with local families from the Amazon that caved wells trying to reach clear water, and they started reporting that the wells were full of worms. When science got there, those weren't worms, those were fish. And we just wonder how a fish got out of the riverbank and got to the wells. Somehow it's able to cross underneath the jungle until it reaches those wells. It's an amazing story. It's a story yet to be told, like yet to be found. The end of the stories, we don't really know how this fish does that. We just know it does that. Some other great findings in the Amazon regard the discovery of new species of electric eels. This is a discovery published just less than 2 years ago from colleagues of mine here from the Smithsonian and also from Brazil. And what's fun in this story is that the fish they described, called Electrophorus voltae, the first one on this image here, is the vertebrate responsible to generate the highest voltage we know so far in the animal kingdom. Electrophorus voltae can cause these electric discharges that reach up to 860 volts. It can kill a human with this kind of voltage. And the following story about Electrophorus voltae and other electrophorids is that people now know they pack hunt in streams over the Amazon. So those fishes somehow they can coordinate with each other at one single very strong electric discharge, concomitant fish by fish, and shocking an entire stream for to hunt to prey on smaller fishes. And the last story here I'm bringing you is the discovery of Taromonia walkeri. And this is an amazing fish because it represents a family of its own. It's very hard for us today to find new families of vertebrates, but we still do so on fishes, especially Amazon fishes. And the coolest thing is that this fish was found just next to Manaus, just outside Manaus. And I can only imagine what else can we found if we go deeper in the Amazon jungle. So to wrap this up, I want to talk quickly about the importance of inventory projects held at the Amazon. Those inventory projects are key to foment research done at the Amazon. We had past inventory projects sampling the Amazonia, like the all catfishes species inventory. We had the South American cruciform inventory going over tetras. And now we have an ongoing project called the Diversity and Evolution of Gymnotiforms, held in collaboration with the Smithsonian and the Museum of São Paulo. And to provide you with some numbers, so the results of those projects, I want to address the South American cruciformes inventory that took place between 2011 and 2017. With that project, we held 11 expeditions, 9 of those sampling the Amazon. We collected more than 29,000 fish species. From those 29,000 fish specimens, 900 fish species, and of those, 55 were new to science, including 3 genera. 143 papers were published directly as a result from the South American cruciforms inventory, a project that involved more than 300 collaborators worldwide. To finish here, I just want to share some pictures of Amazonian fishes. This is the twig catfish. We also have leaf fishes representing different seasons with their coloration mimicking leaves. We have colorful morphotetras. We have colorful neon tetras. We have amazing sightseeing when you go to the Amazon. Some of those just seem like it came out from a movie, but actually it is the movies that are mimicking the real life when you go to the Amazon. Just a last slide showing fishes that we collect in the Amazon and how each one of those were described by colleagues that are expert in those groups just after their collection in the Amazon, showing how much of those fishes are still being discovered. And with that, I would like to end my talk here. And thanks very much the sponsors of my project, which were the Museum of São Paulo, the Smithsonian Institution, and the amazing organization of the Global Biodiversity Festival that are having me today. I thank you very much for the invitation. And now I'm open to questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Murilo. That was really, really super exciting. I mean, the Amazon is on my bucket list, but now it's like the top of my bucket list because once this whole thing with COVID is over.
Yeah, it's a must go, really.
Oh my God, it's just amazing. And the sheer diversity of fish alone. Do you have any particular favorite species of fish? Is there any particular fish that till today like blows your mind? Can you tell us a little bit more?
There are several actually. I'm passionate about those fishes that somehow can exit the riverbank and show up in your dwell. That sometimes like hundreds of meters away from the water, and it amazes me how this fish is able to crawl across the interstices. Like we still don't know how that happens. Perhaps maybe because of the roots of the trees that like create tunnels and it is able to follow those tunnels, but we still don't know. And this is one of the mind-boggling for me.
I mean, it's just completely mind-boggling, and I'm just mind-blown by the fact that these electric eels that you were just talking about,
Oh
that
yes,
they have the intellectual capacity to actually coordinate,
they do.
a
Yeah, they
team attack. I mean, even with
yes.
humans, that's really tough.
Yeah, yes, exactly. They are able to communicate somehow. We actually know that they use the letter line system to communicate, and they somehow they know whenever it's time to every single one to just throw a hard discharge over the water and get some of food. Yeah,
Wow. I mean, have you actually witnessed one before? Witnessed such a team activity before amongst the
not a
electric eels?
team not myself a team activity, but when this paper reached the media, they did provide a video of a group hunt of those electric eels. You can't actually see the eels because they live in muddy rivers, but all of a sudden you can see that every single fish in that stream is jumping up out of the water trying to escape because they know they're being shocked and they know why they're being shocked. So all of a sudden you see lots of fish just jumping up and they're trying to avoid becoming prey.
Oh my God! Wow, that would be a really incredible sight to see.
Yes.
And another question from me before we wrap up today's session: is there any fish species that really freaks you out? Like, like I mean, I've never been to the Amazon, but I've always heard
Uh-huh.
stories about piranhas. So of
Yes,
course,
piranhas are
I do not wish to encounter a piranha, but I was wondering for you personally, since you've been doing fish
yes, but
research.
most of the times piranhas are not attacking us. Like they some like the key for them to start attacking is the smell of blood. So you really have to be careful about that. And whenever we enter the rivers or streams, we're covered up. But sometimes you also hear stories about kangaroos, right? So that those fishes that usually they are seeking for other fishes upper call and they follow the trail of nitrogen being released like urine or something like that, and they might mistakenly find something else to enter into. Yeah, so always suit up whenever you are entering one of those rivers.
Perfect. I will take that advice when I do get myself to the Amazon one of these days.
All
Thank you
right,
so much for being with us, Dr. Murillo. Stay safe and have a great day.
thank you very much. Our organization was awesome, and I hope to join you guys again somehow someday.
Fantastic. Thank you.